Welcome in the latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Braden. Go by SEC Mike on Twitter. Don't know why that took so long to start, but hey, flying solo. I know it's 4th of July. I just want to wish everybody happy 4th of July. I wanted to give anybody that's traveling out there a little bit of extra content going into, the weekend. I guess Wednesday. I don't know. Hopefully none of y'all have to work Thursday or Friday, but it's time. Updated SEC power rankings heading into media days right around the corner. So some teams have moved up, some have moved down. I thought this was a great time to get in. Texas and Oklahoma officially in the SEC. Appreciate people piling in here already. I do enjoy it. So power rankings. Some of you, this is going to be new. Oklahoma and Texas. Maybe you just started tuning in. I know we got a lot of Oklahoma people starting to tune in, so we appreciate it. And they're saying, why the hell do I hate Texas? Well, 9 wins is not hateful. Ask Auburn fans. There's a lot worse records you can have in the SEC. But I ain't buying all the bullshit hype with Texas because they won the Big 12 once in a dozen years or whatever it was. But, all right, so again, breaking this down for people that are new to this, power rankings. What exactly does that mean? It means if Team A meets Team B on a neutral field, I'm putting you ahead, at least in my projections. So that's the only metric that I use for these. Team A meets Team B. Who would I pick to win the game on a neutral field? So let's just get right into it here. And I think, a lot of people are going, you guys would never quite agree on these rankings. So I hope we get Cousin Shane in the comments here. I let him know that we're live. He's not so busy that he can't be in the comments, but I think he's too busy to hop on. But that's neither here nor there. Number 16. We're gonna go. We always go dead last here. Vanderbilt, of course. Come on, Vanderbilt, dead last. As sad as this is to say, I think Vanderbilt could be worse this season than they were last season. They were just god awful. So, Turd, Cousin Turd here, perfectly stated. Before you get rolling here, let me just say you're wrong. All right, so Vanderbilt, I'm not going to waste time on them. 16th. Anybody that doesn't have Vanderbilt 16th, I think your list is irrelevant. Mississippi State 15, kind of hammered home this point all off season, but just so much change, so much new. They've added about 45 new players. They've blown up the coaching staff. I think it's going to be good for them in the long term, but I think it's going to be rough go of it for Mississippi State this season. And again, this is not me saying Mississippi State's going to finish 15th in the SEC. This is the only team I think they could beat in the SEC on a neutral field today is Vanderbilt. So that's where I got Mississippi State 15th. And if they come out and they whoop some ass, they got an early game at Arizona State. They win that one, turn some heads. Texas is their first SEC game. They'll move way up the list. They beat Texas. So, Texas bashing already. All right, South Carolina. I got you number 14 for a lot of the same reasons. A lot of unknown on the offense. A lot of reasons to be excited with Lenora Sellers coming back, but who's he going to throw it to? We added Rocket Sanders, very fired up about Rocket Sanders, but none of that's going to matter if the offensive line doesn't take a big step forward, and we just won't know if they'll do that. Now, your defense, too, very inconsistent is kind of the nice way to say it. You're bringing back a ton on the defensive side of the football, third most defensive returning for South Carolina, so I like that. That tells me the defense is going to be a lot better, but better than what? Because they were pretty bad last year. So, South Carolina, until further notice, number 14. Now, here's the team I've moved up slightly here. I'm going Arkansas 13. And still, if I know Arkansas fans, they were mad I didn't have them 16 about a month or two ago. Now they're going to be telling me this is way too damn low. It's the the optimism right before the season, and I hope they're right. I hope I'm way off on Arkansas, but Bobby Petrino coming in here with Taylon Green, I think the offense is going to do a 180. Similar thing with South Carolina. We got to make sure this offensive line is significantly better than it was last year. Otherwise, none of this matters. We're returning more receiver production. than anybody in the SEC. I think Travis Williams was very, very underrated as a defensive coordinator. First year in Fayetteville last season. If he can continue that trendward up, Arkansas is going to be a dangerous team here. Play spoiler to a lot of teams. So Arkansas, I think South Carolina and Arkansas, I should have said this too. I think there's a gap right now between them and Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. So that's kind of where I got it right now. Number 12, Auburn. Come on. I'm not high. I'm not buying the Auburn hype with Peyton Thorne back. Not a ton of additions. I know they added the Penn State receiver. They're very excited about the freshman class they got in, but we'll see how these guys can compete day one in the SEC. I think it's going to be a challenge. And freshmen, it always sounds good. It's always exciting. But how big of an impact will they make in this SEC schedule, particularly with Auburn's slate? It's pretty rough. So I'm not liking it right now. Cousin Shane, sorry I'm late. We're at 12. He did Texas already, didn't he? Yeah. Texas number 15, Shane, just so you're aware. Moved Oklahoma to number 1. Texas 15. All right, number 11. Shane's got a spot in his heart for this damn team, and I don't get it. Kentucky Wildcats. Give me number 11, Kentucky. I love what they got on defense, what they're bringing back, the transfer additions that they added, really on both sides of the ball, but specifically on the defensive side of the ball. I think Kentucky is going to be one of the more surprisingly good defensive teams in the entire SEC, but I'm still not quite buying the Brock Vandagriff hype. New quarterback, new offensive coordinator, Bush Hampton. Not really seen a lot in his background that suggests he's going to be one hell of a hire. So I think this is going to be a one-dimensional team. And I don't even know if Kentucky, they love to run the ball. I don't even know if this team can run it. They lost Ray Davis. They bring in Chip Trayanum from Ohio State, but their offensive line still, I know they brought back the old offensive line coach, but it's not been the big blue wall for about 3 or 4 years now. So if we can get back to that, if we hit on the quarterback, if we hit on the offensive coordinator, Kentucky's going to be one hell of a dangerous team. But that's a lot of what is for me right now. So that's why I got Kentucky number 11. Shane says this is their year. BBN, baby. Yes, Kentucky, lower than Florida. Florida's my next team here. Florida, give me the Gators, number 10. Actually, a slight drop in where I had them previously, but still a big believer in Florida. Believe that they can come out 5-1, maybe even 6-0 if they can beat Tennessee on the road, which that always sounds crazy in the offseason. But once the season gets here, they beat Tennessee. I think it's 16 out of 18. I mean, they have no fear of Tennessee. I don't care where that damn game's played. And I think Tennessee, the stat I keep seeing, I'll probably butcher it, but I think Tennessee has only beaten Florida at home like 3 times in the 2000s. Again, I may have that wrong, but it's dreadful, the performance Tennessee has against Florida. But this is Florida right here we're talking. Defense still, I think, is going to be surely not as bad as it was. I think they'll be slightly improved, but this is about the offense for me. Year 3, Billy Napier, Graham Mertz, Eugene Wilson, Trey Wilson back there at receiver. I think breakout candidates all over. Montrell Johnson. Imagine Trevor Etienne going to Georgia, off Florida, and everybody saying, oh, God, Georgia's got the best running back in the SEC now. Not everybody, but some people. Well, what about Montrell Johnson? I think he's looking at it like, hey, I'm better than that guy. I'm going to go out here and show it to you. So give me Florida. Florida, big surprise team, number 10 in my power rankings. How about number 9? This is another one Shane loves. I don't get it. LSU, number 9. I'm down on LSU. I think the playoff talk with the Tigers is wildly unrealistic. No, I could be wrong. Could be dead wrong. Hell, I'm dead wrong about all the time. I said they're going to win the national championship last year. They lost 3 games. So I have no great feed on LSU. But same thing with Florida. I think their defense is still going to be a work in progress, to put it kindly. Losing a Heisman Trophy winner, losing some elite receivers. I think it's going to take a while for LSU to get rolling. And even though the home schedule indicates, they'll have a great year, there's no guarantee you're going to win those home games. So until we know what we have at some key pieces, including at quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, give me LSU in the bottom half of the SEC at number 9, even though they're the highest ranked in the bottom half, essentially, of the SEC. Number 8, Texas A&M. This is another one similar to LSU. It's very hard to peg A&M right now. Now, LSU's got, well, I was about to say coaching continuity. It's really just head coach continuity because so much change on their coaching staff. But A&M is a complete wild card. You could talk me into them being the second best team in the SEC. You could talk me into them being the 12th or 13th best team in the SEC, given the transfer portal losses and gains. You just never know how that's going to equate on the field year one with a new coach, new offensive system, a quarterback with a ton of promise, but he's been banged up a lot too. So can Connor Wigman stay healthy? Can they get this three-headed monster at running back? Can they get them rolling with an offensive line that has not lived up to the hype in recent years? I'm slightly concerned about A&M's weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but where I'm not concerned is them having a really good defense under Mike Elko. I think we'll get it back to where it was before he left College Station. So A&M, it's your offense. Will they hold you back, or will they lead you to some big upsets this season? I don't know. Right now, I got you number 8. Now, I moved this team way up. Guilty as charged here. But I'm going Oklahoma, number 7. Again, the more I learn about Oklahoma, the more I like maybe the best receiver core in the SEC, if not number 1, probably top 3 at worst. The buzz I picked up on Jackson Arnold down there, people are loving what they got in the young quarterback. I think Oklahoma may have the second or third best defense in the entire SEC. So you put all these pieces together and a home slate that gives you 4 home games right in a row. I think Oklahoma's going to get on a big-time roll. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder for everybody saying Texas is the damn king. They're coming in here to win the college football playoff, SEC champ. Shane's got them going undefeated. Can you believe that? And then Oklahoma, I think he's got them going about 6-6. So there's a lot of people that have it that way. So I think Oklahoma's going to come into this league with something to prove. Give me Oklahoma, number 7. Tennessee, number 6. Now we're getting into the real teams that I think can really push for a college football playoff spot. I don't think all 6 of these from the SEC will make the playoff. I'd love to see it, but these are your top contenders in my mind right now. Tennessee, Josh Heupel, Nico, and someone at Oklahoma asked me this. You know, why is so much hype with Nico and not so much with Jackson Arnold? Well, there's a lot of key differences there, right? So Nico's playing in the same offensive system for Josh Heupel, who is noted as one of the best quarterback coaches in the country. They've got an offensive line that's returning 3 starters and arguably the top tackle in the transfer portal to pair up what could be a top 5 offensive line in the SEC. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Tennessee also is elite running the ball under Josh Heupel. That's what people overlook. They're actually better at running the ball than they are passing the ball. At least they were last year. So you combine all those things, I think it's really going to help Nico get going early, and they won't even have to lean on Nico early in the season. And, oh, by the way, Tennessee, too, maybe not the best overall defense by any means, but best defensive line. Tennessee is in the conversation for that, which will help out all the rest of the defense making plays all season long. So give me Tennessee, number 6. Give me Alabama, number 5. I'm not completely jumping off the bandwagon of the Crimson Tide, but although I think it'll be a little inconsistent, a little up and down. Fascinated to see what they look like at Wisconsin week 3. And then they get a bye, and then it's week 5 for Georgia. How ready will Kalen DeBoer have this team for those 2 matchups? It's going to tell us a hell of a lot about Alabama this fall. I think they're going to be in the mix all season long. I'm not guaranteeing they make the playoff, but I'd be pretty stunned if they were not one of the 12 the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. And those key games at the end will determine their fate. Trips to Oklahoma, Auburn, and they got some tough games there in the back half at LSU. Those are the games that are going to determine whether Alabama's a college football playoff team or not this season. Now, into the top 4. The team I allegedly hate here. Number 4, Texas. You're number 4 in the SEC, means you're probably top 5 in the country. How can I hate you? But, again, Will they be here at the end of the season? I don't know, but I'm ready to put them there now because, yeah, there's things to not like about them, but which I kind of like highlight constantly, but there's a lot to like about Texas. They probably have the best offensive line in the entire SEC. Quinn Ewers back for a third year with some starting experience. If we can keep him upright, he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And then, I mean, they got playmakers all over the defense as well. So, and I think they probably have the best defensive coordinator, if not, top two in the entire SEC. So I'm not too concerned about Texas defense. I'm really not. I'm just concerned about the week in, week out grind being overhyped. Sarkisian was last year kind of a fluke. I'm not saying it was, but I'm concerned about it. So give me Texas number 4. That means I got Mizzou Mike here. Number 3, give me Mizzou in the updated SEC power rankings. I think Missouri's going to have, if not the best offense in the SEC. I think they could have the best offense in the country. Brady Cook, Luther Burden, and all the rest of the weapons that they have to work with. I like the portal additions they made on offensive line and running back. I don't think there's going to be much of a drop-off there, even with the great Cody Schrader now in the NFL. The big question mark for them is defense. New coordinator, had to replace a ton of production on that side of the ball. But, hey, in this era of college football, you don't even have to have that great a defense. It's all about offense. The rules favor offense. The game favors offense. And I think Missouri is going to score 40, 45, 50 points on damn near everybody they play. Number 2, and I've hyped this team up so much, I'm a little concerned. I may be overhyping them at this point. But give me Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss can make it to the Final Four and maybe even further. Maybe they can win the whole dang thing this year with all the players they've got coming back, the transfer additions, year 2 of Pete Golding. You guys know, if you're a longtime listener, I love year 2 coaches implementing a system. It's year 2 is when we really start to take off. So if Ole Miss can have just some semblance of a defense to pair with this offense, they are going to be a damn problem for everybody they play, Georgia included, which, of course, that's where we're going. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs, no doubt. I think there is a gap between Georgia and everybody else, not just in the SEC, but the entire damn country. It's dogs all day. As long as Kirby's down there, they're going to be the pick, I think, annually to win the SEC, to win the national championship. Doesn't mean they're going to do it every year, but they're the smart pick because they're going to have more talent than anybody. The way Kirby is such an animal recruiting. He's got the best roster. I think he's got the best quarterback. They also will have an elite line. And, where were they lacking? Running back. They just raided one of their main rivals to get their running back. And the defense, I think the defense could have a chip on their shoulder because I don't think they were as elite last year as they had been the 2 years prior. So they'll have something to prove this season in Athens on the defensive side of the football. So let me throw this up there for all y'all in case you missed any of it. Here's my updated SEC power rankings. And now I was not trying to ignore all the comments, but I can't. I can't make all these points and read the comments. So you got any questions about the power rankings, shoot them my way. I'm trying to filter through these comments, see if anybody's got anything good here. But again, we'll recap real quick. Georgia 1, Ole Miss 2, Mizzou 3, Texas 4, Bama 5, Tennessee 6, Oklahoma 7, Texas A&M 8, LSU 9, Florida 10, Kentucky 11, Auburn 12, Arkansas 13, South Carolina 14, Mississippi State 15, and Vanderbilt 16. That's about where you belong, Vanderbilt, till you make a commitment to playing elite football. What we got here? Mizzou too low. You're number 3. That's too low. Come on now. Come on. How did Oklahoma move up so much? Getting the big defensive lineman, I thought that was critical. Damian Williams, I think is his name, that Texas wanted, that Mizzou wanted, that damn near LSU. We ain't paying guys to come down here. Landing him was huge. Getting to know the personnel for Oklahoma a lot better, just seeing what advantages I think they're going to have at the receiving position versus probably everybody they play in the SEC this year. They're going to be a mismatched nightmare for people. Those factors played a big role in Oklahoma. And just talking to people down there and just the sense that just look at these comments. That's everybody in here. It's not an Oklahoma fan. Oklahoma's going to get their ass kicked. Oklahoma ain't ready. This, that, and the other. I mean, I think that's really going to drive Oklahoma to prove a lot of people wrong. And hell, it sounds like I'm saying the same thing over again, but it's true. They beat Texas last year. And yet Texas is the one with all this damn hype. They beat them. This team beat them. And I think Texas is not as good as last year. And I think Oklahoma's better than last year. So what does that tell you? That, I think we're hyping the wrong team up personally. But again, I get it because there's holes that need to be filled. And the offensive line is a huge one. But again, they got a hell of an offensive line coach. They've added guys via the portal. So if I knew they had a very good offensive line today, I'd bump them even higher up the list. But I don't know that we have that just yet. Everybody's question is, my team's too low. That's not a question. Every single team, even Vanderbilt, they're saying we're too damn low. Got any questions here? Nico out. Boomer. SEC Mike has too much pride in his. Here's another thing. This is going to bug me to no end. Please don't make this guy here. I think he's a Texas guy here. He's saying Texas is going to roll in and dominate and all this. Texas and Oklahoma people, please God, listen closely here. Do not say SEC conference. That's you sound like an idiot because you're saying SEC conference. Southeastern Conference is SEC. SEC conference is not the way to do it. Anything else here besides conference, getting that cleared up for all y'all? Yep. Well, that's true. Kel says Mizzou and A&M rolled right into the SEC. Did they, though? I mean, again, this is your lack of knowledge of the SEC. Georgia was not very good when Mizzou came in. Tennessee was awful. Florida sucked. They had Will Muschamp. They basically had that. That's why Steve Spurrier won so many damn games at South Carolina. I mean, he's a great coach, but it was a down year. And, I mean, yeah, they had success, but they did 2 years real good, and then what happened? The wheels fell off because you can't sustain that in this league. They just couldn't. So, again, can Texas do it? Can Oklahoma do it? That's the biggest question about them coming into the league. I'm not saying they can't. And then A&M, they had maybe the most sensational player in college football history. They beat Alabama. What else did they do? And then the wheels fell off. You know what I mean? So, again, if your point is Texas and Oklahoma will come in and make a splash, but then the wheels will fall off, I mean, I think you're kind of proving the point that the SEC is it's no joke. You can catch people off guard for a year or two, but then you could sink to the 8th, 9th, 10th best team in the conference. Because the 8th, 9th best team, again, I'm going to throw up this damn power rankings. The 8th or 9th best team is right now. I got LSU at 9. They've won more national championships in the last 12 years than I think Texas has won in their history. Florida, number 10. They have won multiple national championships since the 90s. It can fall apart on you quick. And again, I'm not saying these programs are in shambles, but it's just because there's so many damn elite teams in here. So this ain't Big 12. I'm just trying to let you know, which is a conference you couldn't even dominate. You did it 1 year out of 12 or something like that. So that's a bad take, I think. Anything else here? Any other lessons I can teach Texas and Oklahoma people? Just let me know here. Yeah, they couldn't beat Oklahoma, but they're gonna come in here and dominate. I mean, I ain't buying that bullshit. So you can get the hell right out of here with that. But all right, like I said, I just wanted to give you guys at least one more, even though it's a shorter type podcast here. I know a lot of you people will be traveling for the 4th, so happy 4th to everybody. Just want to give you guys a little bit of extra content. And then We got a guest interview coming up. That'll probably come out on Monday's show. But this weekend, you're going to want to stay tuned. I think it's going to come out Saturday. Still working up behind the scenes. Shane and I got together. This is going to be one hell of a fun video that you guys are, if you're mad at these damn power rankings, just wait till you see what comes out here on Saturday. It's going to be it's going to be pretty good one. Here's one of my favorite ones. Shane and I got drunk as hell by the pool. I wish we could do everyone like that. But yeah, that's just a little teaser for Saturday. So keep posted on the channel here. And I've decided I'm not going to do the, is it the Hawk Tua girl? I wish it was the Hawk Tua, but I've still been unable to track her down, even though I think she lives in Nashville. So there's fingers crossed, maybe I can meet her one day. But no, I think that's a perfect way to go out here. That's all I got on this episode. Appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. Happy 4th to each and every one of you. Have a good time. Be safe out there. We'll catch you